Nick, pack your bags. We're going to go to Gen Con, baby.
Are we?
No, but we want to talk about the games anyway.
Yeah, for all those asking, we're not going to Gen Con.
We're not going to Gen Con.
It's our first you're not going to Gen Con in like 5 or 6 years. At least one of us has been there. This year, it's just not the card. We'll probably go next year. Our partners start staggering years, but we still want to make an anticipated list. If you want to see,
anticipating.
Oh, yeah, I'm very anticipating.
I'm still anticipating.
If you want to see Mike go through like a whole bunch of games, Mike did a little live stream last week, kind of going through the whole Gen Con preview list. But we're talking about our 10 favorite games, our 10 most anticipated games from this year's Gen Con. And we will say that we are excluding games that we've already played.
Yes.
Some we've already played. We're also excluding games that are only there for demo or only there for preview. We're talking about games that are at least, as of right now, on sale.
In theory, you can take them home with you and play them yourself.
So we're not doing things that are demos or anything like that, just games that are for sale.
So if you're like, hey, why did they put this game on the list? Just check through our list of Gamehouse playthroughs to see if we played it already, and then watch that video. And that will be why. So again, these are games that are truly anticipated and that we don't know, or check the Patreon.
Because we're having another top 10 over there for this, 10 more games. So if you're like, why is it on this list? Maybe it's over there.
It probably is. So go check that out as well. Become a patron today. We appreciate you. And let's hop right into our list with number 10.
We Trinket Trove.
Dude.
This is I love the theme of this one. You're like little mice, like living on the outskirts of kind of human life.
Yeah,
you're basically
collecting little shinies
to like fill out your little burrow.
Yes, so
it's so cute.
You are bidding over 6 rounds for kind of turn order to be able to get cards for set collection, and it's gonna be like very straightforward set collection.
Yes.
Where it's like bottle caps, and depending on how many bottle caps you get, you'll get certain points. Sometimes you need to really invest heavily. Sometimes, the more you invest, the steeper the drop off for value and stuff. But what you're going to be doing is you're going to be bidding with cards in your hand, and you can bid multiple cards. And so if you bid more cards, if I bid 2 cards to your 1 card, the values don't even matter. I'm going to get higher turn order. Then we break it up by value and stuff. But then the cards you bid also become available for collecting. Because if we were playing like a 4-player game, there'd be 4 lots set out to start. And then what we bid will also be able on offer. So you'll get 2 things. You just can't take back the thing you bid. And you're doing that 6 times. And that's it. So it's going to be like a super snappy, but it's got Sandara Tang art, who did like Flamecraft and stuff. So it's going to be
so cute.
It looks so pretty. And like, I just like cute little filler type games. Like it seems like a really pure kind of filler.
Wine Cellar's this way too, where it's different, but I like games where like what you bid also becomes available. And I really like that because it makes the thought process behind bidding, it makes you think about it more when you're doing it.
Because if you see me pick up a bunch of like bottle caps or whatever, then you're like, I'm not going to use that as a bid.
It's very interesting. But yeah, I'm super excited Trinket Trove. I just love the theme. It just seems cool. The art looks great, and I'm gonna buy it. Next up is going to be Tea Garden. This is a game that's coming over by Capstone. Capstone is who will have it at Gen Con and here in the United States. And this is cool. This is by Thomas Holek, I believe is how you pronounce the name. But they recently did SETI, which is my favorite game from last year. And they did Galileo Galilei, which we covered recently, which I also really, really like. So I'm immediately like, okay, it's coming out with Capstone. It's by this designer that I'm really, really liking. I'm here for it.
The art's really cool, and I really like games about tea making.
Even though we're both drinking coffee. I'm not a big tea person, but it's like I love games about tea making.
The process of tea or coffee making and stuff, I think is really cool. So in this game, you are spending your cards or using your cards every turn to take certain kind of main actions that might be spreading out into a new field to be able to harvest that tea. You can harvest tea. You can ferment tea, which makes it kind of more valuable.
Because it's kind of brown over time, but that actually makes it more flavorful and valuable.
And then your unfermented tea actually becomes weaker each round, which is really kind of interesting. So you're doing that. What's kind of cool is you're playing cards, they'll give you action points and maybe a bonus, and you can play multiple cards down at once if I really want this action to be really strong, but maybe you're going to forego doing more different types of actions on your turn. So that alone seems really cool about like, do I just kind of do a little bit of everything? Do I do a really big thing, but then that's the only thing I do this turn? The art looks really cool. And again, I just dig the idea of I don't know, process-based games of you're making and producing your tea and selling it and stuff like that.
I think it's great.
It looks really cool, and the art's like nice.
Yeah. Again,
cozy.
any by Capstone, we're pretty much gonna be like, cool. Yeah, we'll probably like
100%.
that. They're a publisher that we very much enjoy their games, the games they bring over. So yeah, Tea Garden, up there, great designer, great publisher. Let's go. So next up, we actually have this game because Mondo was nice enough to send it to us. We have not played it yet, though, so it still may make the list because we were very excited for it, which is why they sent it to us. This would be Big Sur by 25th Century Games.
Yes, so this is a game where you are going to be building out a tableau of cards, which is going to be a stretch of the Pacific Coast Highway, which is right here in California.
I thought you were like errand boys. You're quite big, sir.
Yeah, you're a little big, sir.
Big,
big
sir.
pockets,
you like a paper.
And then there went everyone watching the video. So you are building out a section of the Pacific Coast Highway, Highway 1 right here in California, the best place ever created by man.
I'm sure no one in the comments will be annoyed by that.
California's the best. You can fight me in the comments, but you will be wrong. And it's this coastal highway. It's very beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
And so you are playing out cards that are representing stretches of this highway. And the cards themselves also represent different like building materials. And so to play cards, you got to discard cards from your hand. And you're going to play this card, which will be a stretch of 1, 2, or 3 miles. Right. And they're going to have scenery types. And so you need to make at least 3 icons of the same scenery adjacent to each other to create a stretch. And you're kind of trying to make these groups, which then you can take these like landmark cards and put them on, which will give you scoring or in-game benefits. But then many of the cards that you play will either give you like an end game scoring thing to go for. So maybe you'll get 1 point per different stretch you have. So it's like, okay, I want to make sure I have a bunch of small stretches or whatever. Or they might give you like a permanent resource that they then provide where you can start to use it in the future without having to discard as many cards. There's a little bit of that kind of Splendor Point City buildup as you go through this deck of cards, ultimately.
It's a small. A lot of the games on this list are all kind of. A lot of them are very smallish kind of games, but that's just what's interesting us right now.
Yeah, and they're playable, and they're when I look at Gen Con stuff, like there's something to be said for like, oh, I can easily pick this up and then carry it with me the rest of the day and play it that week.
There's a lot of that.
And there's definitely like there's gonna be some bigger games as well, but like I don't know, like that always to me is something that I really clamor for when we're like walking through the booths.
Well, also just for Gen Con in general, it's like I feel like a lot of the big, heavier games that we like tend to come out at Essen for us personally. So Gen Con, I do feel like is more of a medium to lighter weight convention for us, at least in terms of purchasing and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, Big Sur seems really, really cool. I love the PCH.
Like the art, the look. Yeah. We're California. We're homers for California.
We are.
That's where we're from.
But it's like when we lived down in LA, it's like where we lived before we moved back to NorCal.
PCH
like
was amazing.
I was like a mile away from the PCH, and I would just sometimes be like, I just want to get out of the house. I'm just literally going to go drive the PCH. It's one of the most beautiful highways on the planet. It's gorgeous. Yeah. And so yeah, I love that part of California. And so Big Sur, big ups. Next up is going to be Star Wars Battle of Hoth. I feel like this is going to be one of the biggest games at the con. If not the biggest, it's gonna crush. This is a re-implementation of Memoir 44 by Days of Wonder.
Yeah, it's a Command and Colors game.
It's a Command and Colors game, which Memoir 44 is, except for now it's based in Star Wars and for the Battle of Hoth.
Yeah, specifically that battle on the ice planet.
Yes,
and you've got
where
the
you're going
AT-ATs
around
coming
the
in.
AT-ATs, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a slam dunk. People love the Command and Colors system. People love Memoir 44. It's quite an older game at this point. So kind of revamping that system and then slapping on some Star Wars and one of my favorite parts of the Star Wars is on Hoth. I really always love that part. So like
that's like the coolest battle. Like
it's
that's
the
not
coolest
a duel
ship battle for sure.
Yeah, because there's like a mix of land and ship stuff. Like I think it's a really good
setting.
setting.
There's a Tauntaun at some point. It's great.
Yeah, the Command and Colors system where you're playing a card that's going to be activate this type of troop and do this. I think works well.
It's a very simple way to get into like wargaming.
Yeah,
like the Command and Colors system.
I played a decent amount of like Memoir 44 online and stuff, and kind of have gotten the feel for it. But like, I'd rather play in Star Wars.
Of course.
Like, so that's kind of cool. You can play with kind of these like leaders, or play like a little mini campaign, or just like a one-off. And I think it's 1v1 or 2v2 at the max and stuff.
Yeah,
so,
I would assume it's the same.
Yeah, I'm excited for it just because that's like one of the most pivotal.
It's Days of Wonder. It's Asmodee, basically. Asmodee has the Star Wars, Lord of the Rings licenses with various publishers, and man, they're putting out really interesting games in those worlds.
Totally agree.
Where I'm just like, cool. Like that sounds really, really great to me. It's like, wow, you're taking this game that's so well revered and putting on a theme that I'm just more interested in. I'm more interested in like sci-fi and fantasy than I am in just like World War II stuff.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm super down. I've always wanted to try like Memoir 44 in the Command & Color system. And so this will definitely be the way in for me. Number 6 is going to be Vantage. This is, I'm also assuming, going to sell absolutely.
What do your elf eyes see?
Yeah, pretty much. It's a Lord of the Rings game. Yeah. Stonemaier got that license. Oh, yeah, gosh, can you imagine? Just like dropped off in different parts of Middle-earth. But nonetheless, this is a Stonemaier game where you are crash landed on an alien planet. But you are in different places. It's a cooperative game, and it's called Vantage because you're seeing everything from your vantage point.
Yes.
And you're kind of trying to like get back to each other or coordinate, but you can only, again, talk about like what you can see from where you are.
You're going to have missions you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, and this is a huge game, and there's tons and tons and tons of stuff. I purposely have not looked into much in terms of like how you play. I know you watch like Monique and Naveen's playthrough of it.
Which you should too.
Which you should too, because they're wonderful. I haven't really looked at anything. It's kind of like movies where I don't like watching trailers because like I like to go into movies kind of blind.
Sure.
And this was one of the ones where I'm like, I kind of don't want to know anything, but I really want to try because I'm just fascinated by like again, everyone's in a different spot, and you can only see what you can see.
Yeah, and that's kind of represented on, you'll have cards that have an image, and then certain actions you have access to based on like where you are and what's going on.
Yeah, like what's around you.
And I can't actually show you my card.
Yeah.
I mean, you could if you didn't care, but like I can describe everything I'm seeing, but it really is kind of trying to replicate the idea of like you're communicating over a radio or something of like, what do you see? It's like, oh, there's some hills over here.
Yeah.
There's a creature running around. It's like, all right, go talk to it or whatever, you know. And then the story kind of evolves from there, and you'll have certain missions from game to game. So even if you I think there's like 1,000 cards in the box.
Yeah,
or
it's
something crazy.
Huge. Yeah.
So it's like you'll never really, I think, run into the same thing twice. Or if you did, maybe you're doing different stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So it seems like
it's been interesting to hear Jamie talk. Like people are like, "Is there going to be expansion?" He's like, "Nope. It's a standalone." He's like, "Anything you would want is already in the box. Is there anything I would want in the game is already in there. It's like everything's already in there."
Man.
And I'm just like, honestly, respect. Just be like, no, everything I wanted to do is already in there. So no. And I'm just like, honestly, respect. So yeah, I'm just freaking curious. Is mostly more than anything else about Vantage.
Absolutely.
And so I really want to try it because it just seems wild. So yeah, Vantage. I'm sure will do very well at Gen Con, but I'm also really want to try it.
Now, as you heard, yes, we're not going to Gen Con this year, but it doesn't mean we cannot celebrate. So this year, we're going to be going to Gen Con. Now, you think this is a typo, but no, this is Gen Con. This is celebrating Jennifer Connelly, one of our finest actresses that we have today. You might remember her from The Labyrinth and Blood Diamond, if you like sad stuff, Requiem for a Dream. And actually, a fun fact, in Labyrinth, she was the third billed actor behind David Bowie and David Bowie's Codpiece. Not many people know that, but that's a tidbit you can find right here at Gen Con. And if you want to attend, it's real simple. Subscribe to the Brother Smurf, and that's going to give you an automatic email with all the details you need to attend the Ultimate Convention this summer.
Brother Smurf will definitely not be sending you an email, but please subscribe.
Number 5, you're super into this game right now. You're super into wanting to try it. This is Lightning Train.
Lightning Train. I have an obsession.
It's a train made out of lightning.
Because I have this memory of picking it up in person, but I don't think it's real, but I'm not sure that's not real.
Where would you pick it up?
I don't know. But I feel like I did. Anyway, Lightning Train is a bag builder game. Kind of operates like a deck builder. They're obviously similar there. It's from the same designer did Dune Imperium, Wild Tiled West. It's the next Dire Wolf board game. This is a game where you are running a train company, doing deliveries and stuff, building track, and you're doing this by pulling out these chits out of your bag that are going to give you, actions you can do. They might also have money on them, so you could use them for their money to buy better chits and put them in your bag. And what's kind of interesting is like you're doing deliveries and stuff, but you can use your opponent's track line. So it's not just Ticket to Ride where it's like I got to build these track routes or I can't deliver there. Now, if I'm using your stuff, you're getting benefits and points and things for doing that. But you could absolutely like run your train empire using other people's tracks. And maybe I'm going to focus on different stuff or just get like really key areas that are going to be used a lot so I can get benefit off of what you're doing. Those kinds of things seem really interesting, and like I enjoy bag builders because it's just a fun way to kind of iterate on like what a deck builder would do, where you have this deck of cards and you're hoping to draw out a certain set of them.
It feels more like a surprise when you pull it out.
It does.
Even though it's not different than a deck builder. But you're just like, I don't know. There's something about the motion of pulling something out of a bag and seeing what it is.
Fun.
That's different than just like flipping over a card.
There's a hope there that you get the right thing.
Interesting. And you were saying the designer for this one was kind of like, it's like if Ticket to Ride and 18XX, which are like big, heavy train games, came like this.
Kind of in the middle. Yeah, Man vs. Meeple was talking about that. They're saying like it kind of hits this midpoint of like, it's not super light, but it's not like the crazy heavy getting into stocks and all that. But it's like a beefier train game.
That sounds right there.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, that seems like a really happy midpoint where there's going to be some like good stuff to like kind of munch on.
And there's lightning.
And there's lightning. Everywhere. Powering your stuff, so it's got a cool cover and whatnot.
It does have a cool cover.
And yeah, so Lightning Train is one that I'm like, I just like. There's some games you're like, oh, maybe I'll like it. This one, I'm like, I just know that I will enjoy this game.
Yeah, that's fair. My next one, number 4, is Ofrenda, and I would put this on the list if I knew nothing else because it's an Osprey game. Osprey games, at this point, I'm just like, I want everything they make.
Yeah, the theming and then the company, I'm like, yeah, that's so. Like,
yeah, it just seems cool. Yeah, so this is about making Ofrendas. So Ofrendas are kind of like, I don't want to say shrines, I guess, but they're kind of like
honoring your
dead
past,
relatives,
your past
relatives and stuff like that. A kind of a way to remember them and things like that.
Them.
Yeah, if you ever watch Coco, that's all a bunch of ofrendas, right? Stuff like that. And so
it's centered around the Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, day after Halloween, and and so you are building out your ofrenda over 12 turns. That are going to have pictures of your relatives. And if you've seen Coco and stuff, there's kind of like the skeleton motifs in the art and stuff. They'll start off on that side, and you're trying to place things in kind of synergistic adjacency ways where you want, this family member, they belong to a certain family type, and so you want certain similar things next to them in order to satisfy their condition and flip them over to their color portrait side, which means they'll score. So you're trying to do kind of all of these things of placing a picture, you're kind of getting these marigolds and placing them to get better options of what cards you take. There's candles you can gain, which give you kind of further requirements that are based on what is adjacent to that candle. So you hope to flip over those. And I enjoy those kind of spatial puzzles of like, this thing should go here. This is synergy, but this one they don't like this type of food, so put that over here.
Right.
So I think it'd be a fairly light medium game.
But that's the thing is like,
but Osprey, like a nice puzzle.
Osprey games, their light medium games that are puzzly are just like arguably my favorite of their games. Yeah. Like I'm a massive Village Rails fan, and I love like Sankoria and stuff like that, the big heavy ones, of course.
They're kind of.
But I'm just like, man, I don't know. Osprey is just one of those companies that like if they come out of the game, I'm immediately like, cool, I'm probably gonna like this. I'm at least willing to try it. Yeah. And then with a really cool theme, really cool art, I'm like absolutely all in.
Yeah, can't wait.
This is interesting because number 3 you have covered for BGG, but we haven't actually played it. And when you were covering it, we're like, man, I really want to play this. And this is spooktacular.
Yes, this is a game where you are monsters.
Love, like Halloween games.
Yes.
Even if it's not Halloween, I love Halloween games.
This is like classic movie monster types, like tropes from movies, and you're in a movie theater, and the monsters are basically haunting the theater.
There's like 20 of them too.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of them.
They have like unique actions they can do.
It's rules.
Action selection game. You're playing cards to do certain actions, or certain ones that are general, certain ones that are specific to your character, and they have very different ways that they kind of go about haunting all these poor moviegoers, which are these colored meeples, and you're trying to like scatter them around, which will generate points. You can devour them and collect them on your board. And again, you're kind of trying to make use of the types of actions you do. So the one that I kind of covered in that overview I made for Board Game Geek was like, I think it's called like the Deadline. And it's like a haunted phone situation. So you're putting all these phones out into the theater and then returning them to your board. And when you return to your board, wherever you place your phone is the special action you're going to take. Yeah. And then another one is like a completely different thing. There's one where it's like a haunted, car, and so you're like taking those meeples and putting them onto your board and stuff. They're like passengers in your car. I'm like, dude, the theming is dope.
Seems cool.
You're just running around eating people and stuff like that. So like, the Halloweeniness of it, the kind of like trope of like classic movie monsters and stuff. Yeah, I was bummed we had to return it right away, but I was like, I really want to play that game. Yeah,
it seems really fun. It was on the Kickstarter at the time, and so now it's finally going to be out. I want this game so badly. It just seems cool. I love the look of it. I love the asymmetry. The fact there's like 20 different monsters. They're all different. I just like the fact that your monster is trying to eat people and stuff. Yeah. It's just so cool.
So I'm trying to munch
I don't know.
on some kids.
I'm here for this one.
Yeah.
We're going to get it back, Mikey.
We're gonna keep the Halloween
That's
haunted
true.
theme.
That's true.
And we're gonna right an old wrong where we called the game that we should not have gotten rid of. This is Above and Below Haunted,
Yes.
which is a standalone sequel to Above and Below.
Yeah.
You can use some of the components from Above and Below with this one, but there's a lot of new stuff with this. It's kind of an anniversary edition.
Yeah, which is great. And
You
again,
know.
like the hauntedness of it, we've heard that it's cleaned up a little bit and just generally a little bit better. But yeah, Above and Below is a really cool, like, light kind of worker placement game where you can either be above or below ground, and you're basically
Kind of building out your town and people and buildings and stuff.
and like going down underneath to like get stuff, and then down there you're coming across a bunch of different story elements, and they're all very random. It's kind of like just kind of pick one, and that's what happens at that moment.
Random encounter.
And we always really liked Above and Below, but then when like Near and Far came out, which was a much more cohesive like story that you were going through, we kind of were like, oh, this is the version of this kind of game that we want. And so we ended up getting rid of Above and Below. And then we played through Near and Far, and we're just kind of like, no, actually, I think I liked Above and Below better, but we'd already gotten rid of it. And so we've been meaning to buy it again for years and just haven't had a chance to do it. But now we're like, now we can do it. And we're going to get a better version.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think for the most part, it's pretty much the same in terms of what you're doing, the worker placement, and then going down and coming across story elements.
New buildings, your buildings can get haunted by ghosts, and then you can banish the ghosts. When you go into the caves, there's like a normal excursion or a dangerous excursion.
Okay.
So there's like a few more options there. But I really like the kind of one and done nature of like, I'm going into the caves, I have a random bit of story. The story is fun. The art, of course, is amazing by Ryan Lockett, the same as the designer. But I like that I don't have to then remember in the next game, oh, right, we were where in this world and stuff. And then the added hauntedness and cute ghosts and stuff. I'm like, yeah, dude, like it's time to get back in. I'm glad we waited. And again, we're going to right the wrong and Above and Below Haunted. Oh, it's going to be amazing. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Number one, Mikey's very excited for this one.
I'm super excited, man. You know why?
Why?
Because John D. Clare designed it. And therefore,
John D.
even I haven't played it, guaranteed amazing game. Guaranteed.
Pretty much. I mean,
Guaranteed.
if Sir John D. Clare designs the game, it's going to be
Knighted
pretty great. It's going to be pretty great.
by
This also
R.N.
by-
Jesus himself.
That's right. And this is also going to be by, this is Ruins, by the way.
Sorry, it's Ruins.
And then on top of that, it's by Allplay, who make great games, particularly games in this little square. They make games, these kind of thick boy square boxes. There's a bunch of them.
There's
And
literally
they are,
so many now.
Yeah, there's a lot. And so many of them are so dang good. So I'm like, okay, you got Sir John D. and Allplay in this specific size game. I'm all in.
Yeah, and it's a card shedding game, so you're trying to play out cards and get rid of your hand first. But there is the ability to upgrade your cards in different ways. So there will be kind of a market of, if you remember Canvas, where you have a sheet that is mostly translucent, but there's a little bit of an element, and you're going to be slotting these into these cards that are going to give them more banners and abilities and stuff like that, or strengthen the card. And then you're going to use those to play out your hand. But then those cards that have been upgraded and stuff are going to be shuffled up and dealt out again, and you may or may not get them back. You can claim like one card where you're like, this is my card every round.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you're maybe making a super cool card that you then don't get to use again because someone else gets it. And you're using this to play sets of cards and stuff to try to get rid of your hand first. So I like card shedding games, like where Scout a few years ago really dominated the year and stuff. So these are always kind of interesting games. And you mix that with a little bit of like card upgradingness in the sleeve stuff. John D. Clare, of course, is the one who kind of honed that skill. And putting it, a team up with Allplay in that kind of size box. It's just like all these elements where I'm like, this feels like a lot of potential.
Yeah.
Of course, we won't know about any of these games until we play them.
Maybe they're all trash. Unlikely, but it's possible.
The John D. Clare one I've already said is impossible to be trash
it's
because John D. Clare made it. But those are our 10 most anticipated games.
Very excited.
Gen Con's always interesting because you go in with all this, kind of optimism and stuff, but inevitably when you're walking through, if you're going next week, as you're walking through the booths and stuff, tell us what you find. What are some of the things that you didn't hear about prior to going through and you happened upon this game and played it and it was amazing and people aren't talking about it? There's always kind of hidden gems.
Always,
and stuff.
yeah.
But these are the ones that on their face we're really, really excited for. We even have a bunch more. We're going to talk about 10 more over on our Patreon. As we mentioned, 10 more games. I'm like, yep, I want to play that.
Downsies.
So go ahead and pop over and become a patron today if you aren't already, and we'll see you over there. Let us know the games you're most anticipating in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks so much for checking out our Gen Con anticipated list. We hope y'all have a really fun time this week. If you are there, tell us what you bought, and maybe, I don't know, send us some extra copies. You know, we're looking. Check out the extra list on Patreon. Thank you, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye!